So we're going to be covering low moments in football that we all go through and exactly how you can bounce back from them. Because with these moments that we're about to cover, a lot of people never bounce back from them. They let it eat away at them and they eventually are led to quitting the sport or just never ever making it. Yeah, Sarushi, it's eighth. It's the eighth tier right now, guys. That's what I'm playing. So these low moments in football and how to bounce back. Basically, guys, you need to know how to bounce back from these moments because they are 100% going to happen to you in your career. And if you don't know what to do when it comes about, the chances are it's going to eat away at you and you're going to spend a lot of time dwelling on these things. You're going to spend a lot of time making mistakes. And these are mistakes that I've made in my career hundreds of times, not hundreds of times, maybe 50 times, whatever it is. And I'm going to save you guys a whole lot of time today because if you learn from the mistakes that I've made, you don't need to waste your time as much. So let's get straight into it. So, moment number one. And guys, as you can see, I put a bit of effort into this. We've got some photos going just to tell the story a little bit. So, as you all know, guys, being benched and being rejected is a part of football. It's going to happen. You guys are going to have a trial, whether it's an academy, a semi pro team, whatever it is. And someone's going to say, no, you are not good enough. I don't want you here. Go find another club. And you're also going to have a starting spot in a team. And then the next week, you're going to find yourself on the bench. This is 100% going to happen at some point during your career. And so many players do it completely wrong. They get rejected and they think it's the end of the world. They get benched and they also think, the world is pretty close to ending. And I was exactly the same when I was younger, right? I got rejected from Luton when I was a lot younger. And I was just like, well, I'm not good enough, right? I'm not good enough. Like, that's it. I'm just not good enough. And I let myself get really down about it. And also, as you know, I've been benched multiple times, right? These are two photos of me just rotting away on the bench. This is the 2022-23 season, I believe, maybe the season before that. And I was just sitting on the bench. It was the worst thing in the world. It was honestly, it was horror, right? It was horror. But there are a lot of mistakes I made during those times. So we're going to dive into being a bench. This is the first one. So let me ask you guys a question real quick. When you guys actually, when you guys got benched before, what did you do? Right? You guys have been benched. This is a question to you. What have you done in the past when you've been benched? Because I know for me, the first thing that I did was I got annoyed, I got upset about it, and I felt demotivated. Exactly. Felt unhappy. Yep. Got mad. Yeah. 100%, bro. 100%. Gabriel, that's good, bro. Yeah. I got mad and I stormed off the pitch. Exactly, guys. So we've all made these mistakes, right? Now, a couple of you are saying you train harder. And this is brilliant because the first thing that you need to understand is by being benched, it's not necessarily, or being rejected, it's not a no forever. It's a no right now. I'm going to repeat that for you guys. When you get rejected or you get thrown on the bench, it's a no right now. It's not a no forever. This is a really important frame of mind to have when rejection does come or you get put on the bench. Now, once you understand that it's not a no forever, it's a no right now, the next thing you need to do is you need to say, like you actually need to look at yourself and think, okay, so the manager has made a decision to play someone over me, or they've decided that this player is better than me, so he's going to get into the team, and I'm not going to get into the team. So this is where this "don't be salty, be mature" kind of comes in, and what this means is, so understand the situation, right? It's not all about you in life. Everyone thinks that they're the main character of the story, that everyone is the main character in their own journey, right? We all have brains and we all view ourselves as the main character. So understand that the manager also has this, right? He's not inhumane. He's a manager and he's made the decision to place someone over you or to not put you in the team. So to a degree, you have to respect that decision, right? You have to go, okay, fair enough. I understand. You're saying that this player is better than me. Okay, I get it. Right. And then once you understand the situation at hand, because a lot of players, they get head lost. They just go like, it's not fair. It's not fair. Why am I not playing? But just by thinking like that, you're not going to improve. You need to have this growth mindset at all times. So once you understand what the actual situation is, it's a no right now, and it's a saying this player's better than you. Now you hop on the grind season. And what this actually means is you need to actually outwork everyone, right? It's so true. And it's something that I've got wrong in the past. It's something that I've got right very recently. But the truth of the matter is, if you're not doing more than the player who's playing over you, or you're not doing more than the academy that you've been rejected by, or whatever team it is, then you're never going to reach that level, because football improvement is all about just how much you do. If you do more than someone else and you are training in the correct way, you're going to become better than them, whether it takes 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, it doesn't matter. You will eventually become better than them. So you need to start working harder. And you need to have this desire and hunger, because if you don't have it, then football, I'm sorry to say, football's not going to be your thing, right? And that's just the reality. And you don't need to necessarily have it immediately if you're not playing, because I've had times in my life where I've not been hungry, I've not, had the desire for football. I felt very demotivated. But it's very easy to kind of ignite that spark in yourself where you go, okay, I understand the situation. This guy thinks he's better than me. He trusts him more than me. Or this team said, I'm not good enough. Now I know what I need to do. I need to prove them wrong and I need to prove myself right. And it's more about proving yourself right for your confidence levels. So you need to be doing more than everyone else, right? So away from team training, you guys need to be doing your extra sessions in the PPP. You need to be doing way more. That is just the brutal reality of football improvement. Whatever you're doing right now, I want you to do even more. And then the kind of second, third thing that you guys need to do is you need to just have a little bit of patience to some degree, especially as you get older. Because if you join a new team and there's another player who's playing ahead of you, they might have loyalties to that player. Or if you get rejected, for example, they might already have their starting 11. It makes it very difficult, right? So it's not always a reflection of you, understand that. But at the same time, it kind of is. So be patient, outwork the competition. You just need to get that in your head. If you outwork everyone else, you're going to improve more than everyone else. It is that simple. And for me personally, I've had multiple times where I've sat on the bench, I've rotted away, and it's been a bad situation. And I've either left that team, but at the same time, I have worked way harder, right? And by working harder, I've managed to secure my place in a lot of teams where I originally started out as a bench warmer. So, the second point, this is more of a specific one, just for one. This is kind of a one-time thing. A lot of players, right? They have bad games, and I say a lot of players. Everyone, literally everyone, is going to have a bad game. I've had bad games. I've had bad games this season. I've had hundreds of bad games in my life, and you guys will have the exact same thing, right? Just like be totally honest with yourself, because I know at a young age you think you can play well every single game, and that is the standard that you set for yourself. You do want to play well every game, but you also need to be accepting and understand that you are going to have a bad game every now and again. Because if you just played well every single game, you wouldn't get that great feeling after the game, right? Because this happens, right? This happens after a game when we win the game or we play well, whatever it is, I play well. You get excited, you get that rush of emotions, you feel proud of yourself, your parents are watching, you feel that good feeling inside your heart, inside your stomach, where football feels nice and you've got that dopamine coming in, you just feel really, really happy, right? And this happy feeling only happens because you can't play well every single game. It's like it's the kind of you can't appreciate what you've had forever kind of thing, right? So a lot of people they wake up and like you guys don't really feel grateful to wake up, but it's actually massive, right? Like we're living on this earth, and not everything in life is guaranteed. So you just need to be more appreciative of things when they actually come around, and what that will do is it will kind of put things into perspective when things don't go so right. And the good times are only the good times because bad times exist. If everything was just good all the time, it would just be that would just be your base. It would just be whatever. Okay, I played well today. All right, whatever. Like you only celebrate wins because you've had losses and those losses have hurt. So if you do have a bad game, firstly understand that, but also you should do some serious analysis. I know a lot of players, and I've done this before, and I've even done this season because it is an easy thing to do. You just get annoyed about it, you huff and puff, and you go, "Oh, just whatever, I don't care. Oh, I'm annoyed, blah blah blah. Go and eat some sweets, forget about it. Go meet my friends, whatever." That is a thing that everyone's done. It's easy to escape from the problem. It's a lot of people's style of dealing with things. They kind of just remove themselves from the problem. But you need to tackle things head on if you actually want to improve. And that requires serious analysis. So you've got to ask yourself, why did I play badly today? Not in a kind of mean way, because you've got to be nice to yourself. It's very important to be, talk to yourself in a good way, in a positive manner. But really ask yourself, why did I play badly today? What was happening? Did I prepare badly? Did I get bad sleep the night before? Did I not train enough this week? Or did I eat poorly on the morning? There's so many different factors that it can go into you playing a bad game. And for me, one of the things that I know, the reason why I've had bad games, especially when I know how I have the ability, because a lot of playing bad games is not about your technical ability, it's about what's going on up here. So for me personally, I know that when I deep football too much and I overthink it, and my routine before football is crazy, like I'm doing meditating, I'm visualizing, I'm doing all of this kind of stuff, and I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about the result after. I know that I'm gonna play worse afterwards, right? I don't like. I literally know that. I know now that that is not my style, and this is going to be different for everyone else. But you need to make sure that you do that analysis and you make sure that for next week you get it right. So for me personally, I played a bad game a couple months ago. I analyzed the situation. I spoke to my manager and I said, "Look, I think I played. I think like I just couldn't do what I wanted to do because I was trying too hard, because I was putting too much pressure on myself, because I had this whole built-up picture in my mind of proving people wrong and balling out and all this kind of stuff." And this is going to differ from person to person. You guys might be the type of player who you have this crazy morning routine, or you might be the type of player who just literally you do all your prep and you don't even think about football. You just turn up and you just get the job done. And that's me. That's me. You guys might be different, but a lot of you will be the same as well. But just do the analysis in regards to why you think you played badly. Obviously, analyze the mentality part of the game, the mental aspects, like I just explained, the preparation that went into it, but also analyze what you actually did in the game. Like, were your passes not good enough? Were you making the wrong decisions? Or did you try out something you shouldn't have? Did you miss an easy shot? And then from that analysis, you know what to do when you move forward, right? You know what to do the next day. You know what to do the day after. So if you kept missing an easy one-on-one with the goalkeeper, you know that you need to improve your shooting, and then you would go and practice that. And other than that, once you've done that analysis, it's just about seeing the bigger picture. I know a lot of players, and I've had it this season. I know it's really, really tough. A lot of players get hung up on one bad game, right? And football is not decided by one bad game. Your football career will be determined by this length of activities related to football, related to your performances. It's not going to be determined by this one game in between my fingers there. So understand the bigger picture. If you guys continue playing football up until you are 35 years old, whether that's professional, semi-professional, you're probably going to play upwards of 1,000 games, right? At least 500 football games in your career total. So one bad game, it's not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal. You've got to see the bigger picture. For me, in my division, right, I think there's been like 42 games this season, and I think I've been in. Well, I think there's been around 38 so far total, and I think I've played around 31, 32. So it's just about putting it into perspective. I know now that if I play badly, okay, well, there's next game and there's still, 40, 50 games in a season, right? So don't be so hard on yourself. It's really important that you've got to move forward. It's just about understanding there's the next game and then there's the next game after that and the next game. And another thing in football is you're only as good as your last game. And that can go both ways, right? And what it means is if you play really well, then you know don't get too caught up on the high because you've got a game coming up soon. And then if you play badly, people might think you're not good enough. Whatever, doesn't matter. There's a game coming up soon, and then I'm going to prove people wrong in that next game. So that's pretty much it for having a bad game. It's quite an easy protocol. What I would recommend is you analyze to begin with, and then after that, you understand the bigger picture, and then you move on from it. Get upset, be annoyed, let all the emotions out on the Saturday night after the game, the Saturday lunch, whatever it is. And then by Sunday morning, you tell yourself, I'm moving on. Doesn't matter. I'm moving on to the next week. We're going to lock in. We're going to make more progress than ever. And I'm going to ball out next week. I don't care. Simple. Now, the third negative moment, the low moments in football, is realizing that you actually need to work harder. And this is one that all of you guys are going to go through at some point, and you may have already gone through it actually, because everyone at 10 years old, 9 years old thinks they're going to be a professional footballer. But the ones who actually take it seriously get to around, maybe 15 years old. It will happen different at different ages, and they'll go, "Oh, I actually am behind. I'm not in a pro academy yet. There are other players in a pro academy. I actually need to work harder. And that's a realization that everyone has. I've had that realization before. The earlier you realize it, the better, of course, because if you realize this at 12 years old, at 10 years old, even, you're going to start grinding more. You're going to get more total hours on the ball. You're going to improve more. But if you realize it at 16, you just need to basically accept that you can't change the past. So, for you guys in here right now, there will be a lot of you, and I know that I was the same probably at your guys' age, where you're just not working as hard as you possibly could. You might be doing, 50, 60%, which is better than like 99% of people, but deep down you could work harder. So if you're having this realization right now, you need to firstly accept that you can't change the past. It's a really big thing, and I've done it a million times where I go, oh, I wish I'd have trained more this week. I wish I'd have trained more over the last 4 years. I wish when I was 14 years old, I would have just trained every single day. Saying things like this is completely pointless. Yeah, it's okay to think it. It's kind of natural. Like, you're obviously going to think in that way. But you need to live in the present, right? So you need to accept that you can't change the past. There's absolutely no point. You're not going to move forward if you're being negative, you're being critical of yourself in the past. Of course, like I said with the bad game, analyze the situation. Say, okay, yeah, I could have worked harder. Okay, like even for me now, like I know that even let's go 4 years ago, when I thought I was grinding, I actually look back at it in reality and I go, I could have even been working harder then. I'm not beating myself up about it though. I'm not like, oh no, I'm so annoyed, guys. Why did I not do that? It's not about that. It's just saying, okay, fair enough. You didn't work as hard as you could have, and not ever, like literally no one works as hard as they possibly could at 14, because the knowledge that you have at 18 is more than 14. So at 18, you realize, oh, you could have done more. At 14, you think you're doing as much as you possibly can. Your kind of levels that you can go to just get higher and higher as long as you're kind of working in that regard and you're gaining more knowledge. So accept that you can't change the past, and then you need to look forward. You need to look into the future and see the vision. What are you actually going to do? This is a dark moment, I'm telling you, because once you realize like you need to work harder, it is dark because you are looking at the past and you're going like, I actually wish that I just put in more effort. What have I done wrong? Like, you got your head in your hands. So you need to create a plan. That's the only thing that you can do. And with that plan, you need to be saying, okay, I'm training this many times per week. I'm playing this many games per week. I'm going to do 5-a-side as well. I'm going to eat really healthy. I'm going to take my recovery seriously. I'm locking in. And by creating that plan, it will put your mind at ease. If you have this kind of plan ahead of you, then it kind of just sets everything in stone. You can kind of accept that you can't change the past because now you're looking forward. You're looking at what you're going to do today, tomorrow, the next week. And then all it is after that is just executing. A lot of people will create the plan, they'll accept that they can't change the past, and they'll go back to their old habits. These are the type of players who won't make it. But if you can create this plan after realizing that you can't change the past, then it's just all about execution, right? You've just got to say, this is the plan, I'm doing this, and I'm getting it done. It's as simple as that. And that's literally it, guys, for the third point. Like, you just have to say, like, you're doing it. And I know it sounds like so basic, kind of, but the reality is, like, the work that you're putting in now is going to shape your future of whether you're going to be a professional footballer, a semi professional footballer, or you're not going to play at all and you're going to quit. You just need to create this plan and stick to it. I'm doing this, and then I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. And I don't care what gets in my way, it's getting done. It's that simple. Now, the fourth moment that we all go through, the low moment, is feeling lonely. Football is somewhat of a lonely sport, right? And I've had a lot of moments in my life, especially since I left school, actually, where it does feel very lonely. Like, it does feel lonely. Because you are part of a team, but you're also being judged purely on your individuals. And especially if you leave school and you pursue football, like I have, if you're not like at team training, you're kind of on your own, right? And even when you are in school, if you're the only one in your friend group who is, grinding away at football and you want it and you're taking it seriously, you're going to be ahead of a lot of kids your age. And that will feel a bit lonely, it'll feel a bit daunting. So the first difference is right between lonely versus alone. This is a big one because a lot of people think they're lonely, but in reality, they just don't have a purpose that they're working towards. Now, what I mean by this is I've had moments where I feel really lonely, and then I've also had moments where I'm just as lonely in regards to the amount of people that I'm spending time with, but I don't feel lonely. And the reason why that is it's a very big difference between being on your purpose versus not being on your purpose and just wasting time. So let's give it kind of two examples, right? We'll go with person A, who is a lonely person. They go into school, they don't really talk to many people. They say they want to grind football, but then they go home and they don't really grind football. They mess around, they go on their phone, they're scrolling, they're not doing much. This person is going to feel lonely, right? Because one, they're not spending time with people for the most obvious point, but two, because they're literally like they're not on their purpose. They've got so much time to think about things. They're just like sitting in their room, wishing that they were spending time with people and wishing that they were doing things. But and what I mean by that is normal things, because football, like, there you're gonna have to make certain sacrifices. You're gonna have to skip parties. You're gonna have to skip meeting your friends every now and again. You're training instead of doing something that everyone else is doing. So it is, you're going to have to be a little bit less normal in some ways. And some people will feel lonely because of that. But these are typically the people who are unproductive with their time. Now, being alone is a very, very big difference. And what it is, this is person B, right? You wake up, train before school, you go into school, you do talk to people. That's a big thing as well. You don't want to actually not talk to people. That is really important for your development as a human. You want to talk about people. You want to talk to people, sorry. And then this person, so they've already trained, they've eaten really healthy, they've gone to school, they come back from school, they do another session, then they might even go to the gym, then they do their homework and they go to bed. This person, it's literally impossible for them to feel lonely because they're just grinding. They're just on their purpose. They're on their mission, and nothing is going to stand in that way. So it becomes very different. And I've had times in my life where I felt lonely, especially after leaving school, where you are with less people, where I'm being unproductive, and I might be waking up late in my bed. I might be not going to the gym as much. I might be skipping doing football sessions. That's going to make you feel lonely. Like, if you're spending time by yourself and you're not doing anything, you're going to feel lonely. Whereas if you're spending time just by yourself, but you're grinding away, you are waking up early, you're getting in extra training sessions, you feel this purpose, this mission attached to football, you're not going to feel lonely. You're going to feel like, okay, I'm on my mission. And you're not even going to have time to think about feeling lonely. Listening to music, well, yeah, exactly, Jane. That's another one. If you guys want to listen to music as well, like, that will help you get in the zone and just grind. But it is also important. We have to remember, right? Football is a lonely sport, yes, but you don't want to fall into this mentality and this trap of, oh, I'm just gonna grind solo, right? Because I've done it before. I'm in year 8 at school, and I'm cutting off all my day ones, and I'm just grinding away. Like, guys, come on, we can't be doing that. As humans, we are natural social creatures, and what this means is, guys, if you go back to the caveman times, we were all together. We were chilling in groups. There was no one single person, because that one single person who just chilled on his own, they would go extinct, right? So as humans, we're naturally supposed to spend time with other people. It's okay to be alone, but also you should have a solid foundation, because in football, with these other moments, you're going to have a lot of low ones, right? Like, you're gonna get benched. You're gonna, if we go back through it, you're gonna get benched. You're gonna realize that you need to work harder. You're gonna have bad games. You're gonna get rejected. All of this stuff, and it's gonna feel depressing in some regards. And it's important that you have a strong social kind of circle around you to kind of help you through those times. And the way that you do that, guys, is literally you get a strong friend group. It's really important. Um, and then after that, like, just spend time with your family, have a good relationship with your parents, with your siblings. It is really important, and I've noticed it a lot. If you pursue football after you finish school at 18 years old, it's so important that you guys have a good relationship with your family, because those are the people that you spend the most time with overall. Like, you wake up in the same house as your parents and your siblings. You see them at breakfast, you see them at lunch, you see them at dinner. It's just really important that you have a strong social, like, circle like this, because it will help you through these times, especially, like, because football is lonely at sometimes. So it's really important that you're not actually alone 24/7. Now, The fifth low point is the biggest one and probably the one that I can talk about for hours and on end, and it's injuries. Everyone has had an injury before, and some have had it worse than others, i.e., me. I've had it pretty bad when it comes to injuries, guys, from a young age. Here's me with my cast on double leg break. Here I've got my little Stitch teddy as well. Love this teddy, man. Got it from Disneyland. Um, and I was only 10 or 11 years old here, and I broke my leg in two places, and they put some metal into my leg here. And this can get people down. A lot of people at that time said, Jamie's never going to play football again, right? And it's difficult. And I went back to football, and then straight after I went back, I broke my wrist, which is, it's crazy, right? But when it comes to injuries, like after that, I've had ankle problems after that, kind of as I got older. But now, like I'm pretty good. I don't really, pretty good. I've conditioned my body very well. But it's important to kind of go through the protocol if you do get injured. And it's first the building blocks. Just understand that, you've got to build yourself back up. You're not going to be able to go straight into football. It's a long process. So just accepting that it's not a really short thing. You're not going to be back to football next week. That's a big thing, right? You got to understand that you got to do something different. You got to do something different, right? Um, and then other than that, it's about finding the root cause of the problem. If you do have a repeated injury that keeps occurring, you've got to find the root cause. But also look at the root cause, even if you get one injury, right? Be like, why did this happen? If you get a contact injury, like a leg break, obviously that's not your fault. But if you're constantly getting like a groin injury where your groin is being strained, then this might be a problem with your biomechanics in which you need to fix right through, strengthening it up. So I would speak to someone as well there. Then other than that, finding a new hobby in the meantime, it can literally be anything. I think when I broke my leg, I played FIFA for like 6 months. I was only like 10, 11 years old. Obviously, as you get older, you should find a more productive hobby, like, spending time with family, playing chess, something that I like to do. Find another interest. It will really help you just take your mind away from being injured. And then also not being too hard on yourself. Don't like, don't beat yourself up about it because injuries are a part of football. They're going to happen to you. Just don't worry. And then once you get back to football, you've got to go back to point three, which is just realizing that you have missed a little bit of time. So in that season, for example, I kind of missed like a whole year. Like I was kind of a year behind everyone else at that point. Um, and then you've just got to realize that you got to work harder. And then obviously, if you guys want to learn more about that, just go back to slide 3 when I spoke about that. Now, getting bodied, this is a bit of a psychological one. For me personally, this is something that's happened to me a lot when I was younger. Like I literally used to cry every week when the bigger kids would push me off the ball when I was very young. And then it kind of really did get affected. Like you guys can see how little I was here. Like my arms were very, very small. Didn't have much like muscle. My legs were kind of okay, but overall, like even here, you're looking at it like there was no muscle on me. I was, skin and bones, which is not a bad thing as a kid. Like that's absolutely fine. It's good to be that way in some regards, but you just need to understand that you're gonna get bodied, right? Like if you're if you're a small kid, like you're gonna get bodied, and it's gonna be a low moment for you, right? It's gonna really be a low moment, and it was for me because it damages your confidence not only as a footballer but as a person as well because they're like violating your strength basically. It's not even just football related. Like someone's just physically like being dominant over you and you can't do anything about it. So it was not a nice feeling just being outstrengthed all the time. I absolutely despised it. I mean, even here you can see like I've got some decent leg strength that I started to get when I was around 14 and 15 years old. But just the upper body, just there was nothing there at all. And then the only thing you've got to do is it kind of goes back to point 3. You've got to realize you've got to get in the gym. Get in the gym, get grinding away because one, it's going to help with your footballing ability. Like this version of me here, this is 2023 and this is 2020 almost, I think. So it's only 3 years, right? And that's a crazy transformation. I didn't even do like loads and loads, but this only happens because you get in the gym and you grind, right? Obviously, if you're not 14 years old, you don't need to get in the gym. 15 years old, you don't need to get in the gym, but just start by doing some sort of stuff like do a plank, sorry, for your core, do some pull ups, do some press ups, nothing crazy, just Start building a little bit of strength. But if you're really young, like you don't really need to worry about this stuff so much. But if you know, as you get older, it does become important. You've got to be a strong player. And this version of me here, he's strong. He can body players. He's faster. He's more agile. He can do more things with the ball. Like, and that only happens because of the work in the gym. So you just got to understand. You got to get in the gym, right? Twice a week, 3 times a week. Do it for a year or two. Change your football career, and it will also change your life in general. For those of you guys who watch my YouTube videos, you know how much I bang on about it. Like football, it's not just football, right? It's deeper than that. It's like when you walk around and you feel confident in yourself, you feel like the guy, you feel like the man or the girl, right? You just are gonna feel better about yourself if you are looking good in the mirror. And obviously, if you're really young, you don't need to worry about this too much. But as you get older, it does become more important. You can just start with the basic bodyweight exercises. But yeah, that is number six. Very, very personal to me. Now, number seven. This is some photos actually from the weekend of the corner. But losing your confidence, right? And this is me here losing my confidence. This is September when we played Chelmsford in the FA Cup, which is on this program here. It's just above my head, just reminded me. But uh, yeah, this game, like we lost 6-0, I think, or 6-1 or whatever it was. And the coach around me was basically just blaming me for like literally everything, which was just ridiculous. It wasn't me, but it did damage me, right? For a good couple months, I was basically being told that I'm bad, I'm not good enough, I'm not that guy. And it did damage me. And it's happened before with losing your confidence, but this is the first time it's really, really happened to me, like where it's actually negatively affected me because it hurt my identity as a footballer. Because I was the player who could take players on, the players who would build up the attacks, the players who didn't get rinsed in 1v1 defending. And once you lose that identity because someone sucked it out of you, um, it's very difficult. So you got to go back to the building blocks, just start building yourself up again, start training more, just yeah, and then the other thing is that you have to do before that actually is you need to find out the root cause. So like, why have you lost your confidence? Is it because you've missed a shot 100 times, or is it because someone's being rude to you, right, over and over again? It's going to be one of two things. So you just need to work out why you've lost your confidence. Um, so once you've worked out why you've lost your confidence, then it is just about going back to the building blocks, figuring out a plan that you need to basically sort out something that needs to be done to fix the confidence, right? And for me, I know what it was. It was getting out of that environment and training over and over again and just putting in the reps. And now I'm in a situation where I feel a lot more confident, right? From this player, September 2025, to literally having zero confidence, hating football, and just being, having the life sucked out of me, not feeling happy, to now this game from Saturday, scoring directly from a corner. Look at the whippage. Uh, it's a big transformation and it didn't take that long, right? It's just about being patient and just continuing on with the grind. So if you do lose your confidence, you got to go back to basics, train more, get out of the environment if you think the environment is the problem. And that's basically it, guys, for this slideshow.